So today we're going to be talking about solving equations with variables on both sides of the equation. So if you look at the very first one, it says to solve and then check your solution. So if you notice here, we've got a little bit of a difference, and here's our difference. Okay, our difference is that we have a k here and we have a k here. And so in order to solve this, what we need to do is we need to get the k's on one side of the equation. A little helpful hint is that you want to try and keep your k positive if you can. It will work when it's negative. It's just generally you make mistakes when you have negatives involved. And so what I'm going to do is I want to move my k to the left side. So I'm going to subtract 3k on this side and on this side. So when I do that on the left, notice I still have my 2, right? Now here I have 5k minus 3k, which is 2k. On the right side, I have 3k minus 3k, which is 0. It's gone. And so the only thing left on the right side now is negative 6. So now this problem looks real similar to what we did yesterday. Okay? So if this was a problem we did yesterday, what would we do? Yeah.
Subtract 2.
Yeah, we're going to move this 2 over here. We're going to move it over here to the right. And so on the left side, I now get 2k, because if you notice the 2's here cancel. And on the right side, I get negative 6, negative 2, which is negative 8. Our final step to solve this will be to do what to both sides?
Divide by 2.
Divide by 2, very good. And so I'm going to divide both of these by 2, and so I get k to equal negative 4. Now notice what it does say. It does say to check. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to real quick plug 4 in and see what I come up with. So if I plug negative 4 in, I'm going to plug negative 4 in here, and I'm going to plug negative 4 in here. So if I plug negative 4 in, I get 2 plus negative 20. On the right side, I get negative 12 minus 6. Okay, do you see how I got the negative 12 and the negative 20? 2 plus negative 20 is negative 18. Negative 12, negative 6 is negative 18. So we're checked, and everything's good to go. Okay, with that in mind, I want you to go ahead and complete this problem for me. Okay, 5a plus 2 equals 6 minus 7a. Now I will tell you right now, your answer will not be a whole number. It will be a fraction. Okay, so you're going to have to text that in on your expression. Okay? What do you think you should do here?
Add
Subtract
7.
2 on each side.
Okay, you could subtract 2. That would be fine. If I subtract 2 here, subtract 2 here, I get 5a to equal, what's 6 minus 2?
4.
4 minus 7a. So now if you notice, I need to get my a's on one side of the equation, right? So I need to move my a over. So what are you going to do to both sides?
Divide.
No, you're going to add 7a. Okay, so add 7a to both sides. So add 7a to both sides, and I get a total of how many a on the left side?
12a.
12a equals 4. Now how do you solve that for a? What do you do?
Divide by 12.
Divide by 12. So up there on the board, you're going to get a to equal 1/3. Okay, a to equal 1/3. Okay, let's look at another one. Looks like we need lots of practice on these. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. So we actually did have the majority of you on the right track here. This is fractions. Okay, now one of the things you're going to notice is that the fractions are each written differently. Okay, now if some of you are still struggling, don't worry, we're going to have lots of practice. Okay, we're not going to probably go on to anything new until next Wednesday, so we're going to spend lots of time on equations. So up here, you're gonna notice that the equations are written differently. Or not the equations, I'm sorry, the fractions are written differently. And so if you look here, x over 2 and 1/4 x, they're written differently. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna rewrite this one here as 1/2 x plus 1. And then that way it might make a little bit more sense. So if you notice, all I did is I pulled the x out, which you can do anytime. And so now that's a little bit easier to see. Now, remember our goal on the very first one, we got rid of the x's right away. We combined the x's. So now I see I've got a 1/2 x on the left side, a 1/4 x on the right side. So I need to combine those. So what are you gonna do?
Multiply them.
Subtract.
Subtract 1/4 x. Subtract 1/4 x. So now I've got 1/2 minus 1/4. How many
1/4.
fourths is 1/2?
2/4.
That's 2/4. So basically I've got 2/4 x minus 1/4 x, which is 1/4 x. Good. I'm gonna go ahead and add 1 to that, and that will give me -6. So now what I need to do is what?
Subtract 1 from both
Subtract 1 from
sides.
both sides. Okay. The reason why I've subtracted is because I've added 1 in the problem. So to undo addition, I'm gonna subtract. And so on the left side, I now get 1/4 x equals, on the right side, I've got -6 and -1, which is
-7.
-7. Now notice I've got 1/4 times x equals -7. How do you undo the 1/4 times
Multiply
x?
by reciprocal.
Multiply by
Reciprocal.
4/1. Multiply by 4/1. So if we notice our 4's cancel, 1's cancel, it leaves me with x equals. On the right side, I have -7 times 4, which is -28 over 1. Well, -28 over 1 is just gonna be -28. Okay. Alrighty. So now this one deals with decimals. Deals with decimals. I will tell you right now that you can answer your problem here in decimal form. Real quick, before I let you loose on this with your expressions, what's the first thing you're gonna do?
Get the n.
Subtract, yep, subtract 3.3n. Good job. So, go ahead, let's see how we do here. Oh, that was, oh, okay.
That makes a lot more sense.
I would address really.
Okay, so we're gonna see how you did. All right, so your answer, nice.
Yeah.
I guess
You
I
got
was
it
kind of a
right.
little worried after, you know,
You
some
can
of the
be worried if
questions,
you want.
but let's go ahead and go through again and see how we solve this. Okay, does somebody want to take a stab in the dark? Here, you want to try the slate even?
Yeah.
There you go. So now, very first step.
You can't really.
Oh, there we go. I see it now. Okay.
Yep. So now, what are we gonna do first?
Minus 3.3n,
Okay,
and then minus 3.3n.
there you go, nice job. And so then, what do we get?
You get -2. Yeah,
Okay,
-2n
okay,
equals 2.8.
Good. Okay, next step. So we wanna try?
It's
Multiply
fun.
by the reciprocal.
Okay, so,
Don't write as big as I did though.
there you go. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna do. There you go. Gotta hold it kinda down as you move. Yep, there you go. You're gonna divide by -2. Good. So 2.8 divided by -2 is -1.4.
Good job, bud.
Nice
That was
job.
beautifully done.
Okay, -1.4. So let's see what our next problem looks like.
Oh.
Oh. Oh,
This looks like a
no.
brain buster.
What have they thrown in there now?
Parentheses.
Parentheses, so what property are we gonna have to use?
Distributed.
Distributive property, so I'm gonna get you started, and then I'll let you finish. So, I'm gonna distribute the 6. So if I distribute the 6, I take 6 times 5m, which is
30M.
30m, minus
18.
18 times 3. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take 1/3 times 24. Now for those of you that are thinking that's really tough to do, let's think about that. Okay, 1/3 of 24 basically means take 24 and divide it by 3. So if you take 24 and divide it by 3, that is 8. Now I'm gonna take 1/3 times 12. So think about 12 divided by 3. And what do you get?
4.
4. All right, folks, let's see how you do on this one. I will tell you that this one will be a whole number, actually.
So would I add that?
You could do that. You would add 18 over here, and then you'll get rid of your x. Okay, so what's 30 minus 8?
Jay, I think I couldn't talk very well. This is actually so nice.
20 just
Well, it'll be a hard day.
Okay, so let's go and see how you did. Let's see what we got.
Oh.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Not cheating.
Nice.
not
I am impressed, guys.
It's a big block.
So anyway, I guess I was expecting after that it was gonna be a not as good but nice job. So remember, our goals are to combine the variables. So once again, let's kind of go through this together. The very first thing you could do, you don't have to move the 8m, but you could. I always like to move my variables first. That's kind of always me. So I'm gonna go ahead and move my 8m, and in which case this becomes 22m. Now notice now, once you've done that, the variables are done. You're not gonna touch that 22m again until there is only one number. Okay? Once you've moved that variable, you've got one variable. You're done with that until we have one number. So then now what we need to do is move the 18 over. Okay, this is a problem like what you did for today. So I'm gonna move the 18 over. And here I get 22m equals 22. So if I solve that, I get m to equal 1. All right, now, okay, you know what I think we're gonna do? I think we're gonna hold off on this. And what I think I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna give you a partial assignment here, and I'm just gonna have you start working on that. So now I need you to turn to page 100 since we're gonna have a change in plans here. Page 100, just turn on the page. So go with me to page 100. Okay, on page 100, I need you for Monday. I need you to do 10 through 13. 16, 17, and 20. So 10 through 13, 16, 17, and 20. 10 through 13, 16, 17, and 20. So not the 10 through 38.
This is the big